Hi, I'm Sal. I posted about a Q&A a couple days ago, and I was going to make the video when I got home. But Transcend was like, we'll just set the studio for you and do it here. And this is way too much. You all know me. I'm just kind of phone and mic and make it happen. But here we are. So let's get into the questions. How good are you at playing chess? The peak, I was at 800 elo. I probably could have kept playing like online, but then now we play over the board all the time, and so I don't know how good I am right now. I would say probably 550, 600 elo. How does it make you feel that you're a role model now, and do you have one yourself? First of all, I'm not a role model. I'm just some guy on the internet trying to lose weight and save his life. And do I have role models? For sure. Like, right, my mom is my biggest role model in life. She is the person who I watched her work 100-hour weeks, and we slept on the office couch in her office as a kids, and works continuously to do the best for her and her people. So yeah, that's for sure her. Is weight loss surgery an option for you? It is. But like, it's a tool in the toolkit for me and for a lot of people. But for me, it's like, when do I need that tool? If I need to use it, I will. I've been natural so far this whole time, and lost 143 pounds. Hasn't been easy. I've had some struggles though, right? It's been difficult at times. I've had stalls. I've had parts when I go up. And so right now we're just trying to find the right time to introduce a GLP-1, and then that will hopefully take me to that next level. And if I can get to a point where maybe I'm whatever number and I don't really need the surgery, then I'll continue that effort. But the surgery is definitely a tool. I'm open to it, and it's in the back pocket if I need to go that route. I'm all about using the tools and using what's best for you in every moment. What are some activities, events you'd like to do when it becomes easier for you and more accessible with fat loss? I think I'm doing them, right? The walking the mile a few weeks ago, the hike was unexpected, and it was a solo hike. I was by myself. I meant to just go there for 25 minutes, but I kind of got into it and I couldn't come back, and it ended up being a 4-hour hike. That was something I couldn't do at 725 pounds. I couldn't do it at 650 pounds. I could barely do it at 589 pounds, and that was interesting for sure. And so more stuff like that. I want to traveling will get easier. Snowmobile, go riding 4-wheelers, doing all kind of fun stuff. Going on long walks, long hikes. I want to hike more. I never hiked in my life, but like on Sunday, seeing the views from even 400 feet up was just stunning. I want to see what is it like when I get to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 feet elevation. I was looking at the hardest hikes and the hardest climbs in the world like last week or a couple of days ago. To tell you where my mind is at, right? So that's where I want to do more things, and the goal is always activity. My deepest fear when I was in an inpatient facility when I was 20. It was for an eating disorder, and I spent 6 weeks there. And the therapist asked me one time, Sal, what's your deepest fear? And my deepest fear was having the inability to say yes to do activities with my friends. And that fear came true for me when I let myself get to over 700 pounds. I couldn't do very much. I couldn't go out and hang out with friends. I couldn't go play golf. I couldn't just say yes to the job of a hat. I had to think about things or say no oftentimes. And so being able to put that fear away and then go out and be able to say yes to certain things and doing life is probably one of the biggest motivators for me internally that I don't talk about very often. What are parts of your weight loss journey that make you the most proud of yourself? That's an interesting question. What makes me the most proud of myself about this weight loss journey? I think it's the reflection of self, and the more I get to learn about who I am as a person. I'm not perfect, and I have a lot of flaws, but I get to really look at those flaws constantly. And then I think that's the fact that I also realize that I am nothing without the people around me. Like, my team is the people that help keep me consistent. Trey, Avery, and just not running away from those people. I'm someone who runs away a lot. If it gets hard, I'm running away. If it gets difficult, I just want to disappear and not show up and just become a chameleon somewhere else. And yeah, I've stayed and showed up consistently. We've had fights, we've had blow-ups where mostly me blowing up, me fighting, and things of that nature. But so not running away is probably my biggest thing I'm most proud of myself for. And sticking out. I've never made it 6 months of consistent diet exercise. And so we're at the 6-month mark, and usually I would have given up about the 4-month mark. So I'm here now. This is kind of uncharted territory for me. I'm kind of seeing where this goes from here. What do you miss most about your old self? Interesting question. I don't think I miss much about my old self because my old self was hiding a lot of things, right? My old self hid a lot of things, whether it was food, whether it was gambling, whether it was self-hate, depression, anxiety. My old self hid a lot of things from people, and I hid from people that cared about me the most. And so I don't miss much about my old self, but I am thankful for that person because without that person, I couldn't be the person I am today. Do you have hobbies outside the gym, favorite TV show. Hobbies outside the gym. I mean, chess. Hiking is a new hobby. Unlocked. Hiking unlocked is something that I never thought I would be into, but yet here we are into hiking. Besides that, I like to read. Like to do a lot of research on different topics. And then favorite TV show. All time favorite TV show is The West Wing. I think probably The West Wing. But there are so many. Newsroom was great. Aaron Sorkin was just a great director and writer. But yeah, there were so many. I probably like they change all the time. I just finished up Will Trent. That was interesting. House is always good. Like there's so many great TV shows. I don't know. This is an interesting question. We're in the second half of 2020. What would you say your 2020 self? This is funny. So this actually is a true story. In late 2020, it was the height of COVID, and I wasn't working out. I was at home. I was ordering DoorDash consistently. And I text Trey for some reason. I hadn't talked to him in a few years, and I just randomly texted him about something, and I used the word brother, and he's like, if I'm really your brother, you should come to the gym, right? And I was like, oh, I don't want to get sick. And he's like, that's BS. Like, well, like, what do you need? And so we basically would go to the gym at 9:45 p.m. I'd wear like a mask or something of some sort, and we worked out for about 3 or 4 months together consistently. And that was when that was probably my last like I'm gonna lose weight push. We worked out almost every day at this gym. It was a private-ish gym, right? There was no one there at 9:45. That was because it was just us, and it was usually just us. And I felt the safest there, and that was what I did for there. And Trey was just like, bring your ass to the gym. That kind of is the phrasing that is used a lot between us. What will you say now that you're in 2030? What would you say to your future self? Don't forget who you are and where you've come from, and give back as much as possible, right? I've received a lot of help along the way, in life and recently. And so as much as I can give back to those in the future, I want to do that too. So I would tell myself, just remember where you come from, remember who you are, and remember to always give back and always try and support those who were in positions that you were in. Do you have an in-weight in mind? No. There is no number attached to it because for me it's too big. I want to be able to just do activity. So the Ironman is kind of like a reason why I picked the Ironman. Because I know that at an Ironman I have to be around 220 to 250 to do it and complete it in 17 hours. So instead of thinking about the weight as like the goal, I'm thinking about the activity as the goal. And so the weight will come with that. How was the experience working with these larger creators and the influence of new people seeing your content for the first time? Everyone I've worked with has been phenomenal. Like I can't speak more highly than everyone I've worked with, right? Working with Will and Obese to Beast, they both were phenomenal people. Will quite literally changed my life and forever, and I'm forever indebted to him, and I could never repay him for what he did for me and my family. And it almost moves me to tears when I talk about it, just because how it's unreal. And Obese to Beast, John has been there from literally the grocery haul video. When I posted the first one, like on Instagram, when I hit 650, right? He reached out immediately and has been phenomenal. And everyone since then, Simon has been great. Ahmad's been great. Like there have been so many folks who have been phenomenal to work with. Everyone I've talked to in this space has been phenomenal. Jenna, I can't speak enough about Jenna Bestie. I would be remiss if I didn't mention her. Jenna is usually behind the scenes, and we talk quite a lot about some things, but Jenna is one of the best people I've talked to in the industry, and she reached out, like, first person to reach out on TikTok, and has been phenomenal. So everyone I've talked to has been great. I've been really lucky and blessed to have met some really awesome people, and the people that have come to join that I haven't talked to yet also have been great too. The followers and stuff, I don't deserve any of it, and I appreciate you all being here though, and I hope to make you all proud, right? At the end of the day, I hope to make it someone that you all enjoy following and watching along. Do you find it helpful that so many people are rooting for you, or does it additional pressure add on to you? No. So for me, I need pressure. I'm someone who would write a paper the night before it was due. Right, like the pressure of everyone following me is fine with me. I like it actually. It helps me stay focused. It helps keep me, like, when I want to make a bad choice, I'm thinking about, oh well, people are counting me, people are watching me, people want me to do well. So it's not always just about me. And it kind of helps take the pressure off myself a little bit, knowing that I have other people caring about this journey too. A goal could be to start rock climbing as you. It's funny you mentioned that. I was telling Becca here at the Transcend that. We talked about Magnus and climbing, and I was like, I'd be cool to climb with Magnus at some point. So yeah, I will climb at some point. I think it'd be kind of cool. Again, I like the hiking, so like, they're part of hiking. There are some climbs involved too, so I'm not opposed to it right now though. Not yet, but maybe around, I don't know, 450, 420, we'll try something. Probably closer to 350, 320 to be honest with you. What's my strongest lift? If you count leg press, I guess leg press, but if you don't count leg press, than squat. Favorite cartoon? I love Dora. I didn't really watch cartoons growing up too much. Probably, let me think. What was the one? He had like a football shaped head and he had a surfer involved in it. Arnold. Hey Arnold, maybe? Probably Hey Arnold, I think. I mean, I don't know. I was never, oh, if you count Pokemon as a cartoon, Pokemon. Like, I loved the Pokemon series. That's the only anime that I've ever watched. If you can call it Pokemon anime, but Pokemon series for sure. What brought you the urge to improve yourself? What was your moment? It was quite simply my cousin telling me on the hospital bench, "I need you not to die." Right, that was the moment that kind of changed everything for me. From there, dominoes began falling in effect to where I started posting on social media about weight loss. But after the hospital with AFib, my heart was still in AFib. As I left the hospital, she says to me, "Sal, I need you not to die." And then a lot of things happened after that. But yeah, what do you think about yourself when you look in the mirror? What do you say to yourself every morning when you wake up? Wow, you guys are trying to get deep with me. You want me to cry? When I look in the mirror, I don't like how I look, and I'm pretty harsh on myself. I may portray that I have some confidence, and I do in some instances, but when it comes to me face myself in the mirror, I'm pretty cowardice and quite harsh to myself on a regular basis, honestly, about how I look and how I need to look better, and I'm disgusted, really. And then what I say to myself, I try to have positive self-talk, and that's good. But then I also have negative self-talk too, right? I talked about hate comments before, and they're there, and I think at this point, I think they're kind of funny, because anything that you say to me online, I've said worse to myself 10 times over. No one can say anything that I haven't said to myself, and probably worse to me, right? I've been my biggest critic. I've been my biggest hater, and that isn't like old style. That's like 2 hours ago, right? I'm that way. Negative talk to myself, and I try to force it down. I try to flip the script, but still, I'm my biggest critic for sure. Do you aspire to marriage or fatherhood? I told my mom all the time when I was a kid, and up until a few months ago, that she had 2 boys for a reason, and hopefully Ben will give you grandkids, because I never will. And that was the mentality I had up until about 3 months ago, because I never thought that, one, I'm a really selfish person. I know that about myself, and I'm kind of self-aware about that, and so I didn't think I'd be a good father. And 2, I never thought I'd be around long enough to have kids, and I didn't want to have kids if I couldn't be here long enough. 3 months ago, I kind of realized that I kind of want to be here a long time, and I think that I would be a decent dad. And so that shift for me has begun to change a little bit, from not wanting kids to really liking the idea of maybe having a family and doing the whole marriage thing. But that's a recent thing for me, right? For most of my life, I thought for sure that I would not make it to a certain age and never have kids, because that wasn't who I was. But yeah, that's a new development for me for sure. What support network do you have to There's a whole team. There's an entire team of folks. There's doctors, there's dietitians, there's the core folks of my team are Trey, D'Avery, and Coach Mom, as I like to call her. My mom are the 3 core people of my team, but then from there it branches off to, there's a couple of doctors on the team. There's a dietitian on the team. Transcend's part of the team. They help out in a big way. The team is quite large. Therapists may be part of the conversation at some point. The mental game is really important. I recognize that. It just hasn't become part of the thing yet. But yeah, there's a massive team helping support the system, and then all of you all are part of the team as well too. So yeah, for sure. Did you have anxiety joining a gym? No, for me, not. My brothers own the gym, first of all, number 1, and number 2, it's a private gym. I say this all the time. Smaller private gyms are less anxiety inducing than big gyms, because those gyms, it's more of a community based feel. You're kind of there for the same reason, trying to get better yourself, and you see the same people all the time. So you build this relationship with people, and no one has ever said anything to me in a small private gym. In a public gym, though, I've had really bad experiences. The public gym's giving anxiety to this day. I've been lifting for a long time. I've been around gyms or gym adjacent since I was 14. But walking into a public gym for me still to this day is quite anxiety inducing. So I would say if you're looking for a new gym and you have some anxiety around it, look for maybe a smaller private gym. If you can go back in time as a child, what would you say? I would say a lot, and I'll leave that one there for now. I would say a lot to myself as a child. Probably the biggest thing I would say to my child is just be yourself more, and don't try to fit in for other people. Oh, what was your opening for black? That was the question about, like, for chess. Usually probably. So I usually go the Grinfeld defense. So I would go B3 bishop B. No, I'm sorry. I'll go B2 bishop B2 knight C3, and then castles. Almost exclusively, unless they play some kind of weird line, in which case then I'll change it up from there. What is something you enjoy about doing? What is something that... Oh, for me, swimming is it was not enjoyable in the beginning of the journey, but it's become probably my favorite thing to do in the journey so far is swim. Walking is also getting help easier too. So that's something that's becoming more enjoyable as well. What steps are you taking to keep your mental health in check while you work on your physical health? Again, I just talked about how I need to probably set up the whole therapist thing. Um, but I'll do that eventually. I'll do that soon. As someone who's overweight and starting to lose weight, when did you start to hate the way you look or felt? When I was 5 or 4. I've been big my entire life. I've hated the way I looked since I was a kid, and I would mask that a lot of ways, trying to be the funny guy, try to be overly obnoxious, whatever, try to always be present, try to know everybody, like different ways I would mask how that happened. But yeah, I've hated myself how I looked for a long time. What motivates you to stay on track is seeing the progress that you have made so far, your personal goals or something else. It's so funny. I didn't recognize that I lost weight until probably 3.5 months into this journey because I see myself every day. But one day I was just getting dressed and I was like, holy crap, you look smaller. That was motivating, and every time I have that epiphany in my head, that's motivating for sure. Honestly though, it's the people that I've kept around me that help keep me motivated too, because motivation is not easy, and it can be quite difficult to always tap into it, but having the accountability of folks around you, and just honestly that I'm just always in their presence a lot, and so it's they sometimes have to force me, but sometimes just make me do things, and that helps me too. So having the right people around you help for me keep me motivated. If you were to go back in time to stop yourself from getting this big, what do you think you could have said to yourself or someone who was 400 pounds ago? 400 pounds ago, I was 14, 15. There was nothing you could tell me that I didn't think I knew in the world already. So there's nothing I could say to myself at 14 years old. I was the most arrogant little shit you've ever met at 14, and nothing I could tell myself at 14 that I would have changed, right? This was destiny, and I can't go back and change that, so I won't even go there. But that was all the questions that you all had. We'll probably do this every month or every 6 weeks, to be honest with you. But in the meantime, I appreciate y'all being here. Again, I am indebted to you all for your support in this entire journey and process. So we'll talk soon. Cheers.